Hi, welcome to the Shelly Studio, and today I'm doing a video for the hashtag event CAC Flower Art, and I am doing a watercolor technique since this is Wednesday. And right here I just pulled out all of my black pens and decided to test them for water fastness. So I'm writing the names of each of the pens down, and we're just gonna see which ones bleed and which ones bleed a lot and which ones don't bleed very much. I was recently watching a video, and I think it was Gina Aarons was testing or was trying out some new pens, and they bled, and it was a really cool technique. So I wanted to try it. So I drew a little bit and my pen didn't bleed. So I thought I would check out my pens and see which one's going to bleed. And I do have quite a variety. I just picked one of each. And yes, I'm looking on the pen for the spelling. Couldn't remember if there was 2 L's or 1. And some of these are very fine. Like, they write so thin. And some of them are kind of old. Like this one I'm just starting to use now. It lasts for a little while and then it starts to dry. I do like this pen. It writes really well on paint, so I may have to find a replacement for that one. And my Recollections pen's pretty old too. Alright, so I do hit it with a blow dryer for a minute just to make sure they're good and dry before I run water over them. So I'm just using a wet brush, and I'm rubbing pretty hard to see if I can get them to bleed. Some of them, that one had a little wet spot. Some of them bleed pretty good, but for the most part, these pens didn't bleed all that much. I was kind of surprised because every time I use one and don't think about it, it ends up being one that bleeds. A few leave a little bit of gray, but for the most part they're pretty good. And that Pentel brush, first one, which I really like, and it's the one with the soft brush tip, it's pretty water fast. So I decided I'm going to use it, and we are going to do a watercolor and ink wash, and we're going to do some roses. You saw a photo of the rose I'm actually drawing in the beginning. It's just a rose bush that is in our front yard. It actually is a wild rose bush that came up from the root. The original rose died off, but we just left it, and has a big bush of just wild red roses, which are really pretty. They bloom all at once though, and then they're gone. And I just started drawing. I didn't think out the composition, so the composition came as I was going, I guess. I kind of do that. I just start and think about things later, and you should really kind of try and think about your composition before you start. I am just using a scratch piece of watercolor paper. So there's our roses. And you didn't see it, but I did hit that with the blow dryer to make sure the ink was dry. And now these are my Winsor Newton travel watercolor set. It's pretty well worn, and a lot of them are almost out. But I'm trying to decide what color I want them. Ooh, I like the real red better than the sort of burgundy color. And I've gotten used to having the paint on the right hand side, even though I've left-handed, so that's where it's going. So I'm just using the red color for the whole flower. I'm trying to have more concentration of pigment in some areas so they're darker, and then I blend it out with a little bit of water just to give it some variation. And I get this bud really dark, and I love that dark red. And normally I don't paint spots next to each other, but I am using all the same color, and I'm impatient, so I'm not too worried about touching the other areas and having it bleed because it is the same color, and I think it works out okay. And now I'm trying to decide which green I want. I think the one is a little too blue and the other one's kind of sad color. But I think I like it blended. So I'm going to use the bluer color, and then I'm going to go over it with the other one. I think that makes a good green. I'm sorry that cut out a little bit. Not sure if I ran out of memory or battery. I need to upload some videos, I think. So I wanted to put a little bit of a sky background in here, but I wanted this to be kind of sketchy. I know my roses aren't exactly sketchy looking, but that was the idea I was going for. And I've seen people do them and they're sketchy and they have splatters on them, and I really like that look. I was trying and not exactly successful, but I like it in the end anyway. Try to add some more splatters. Now I've really got to clean up my flowers because I've got paint all over them. But it comes off okay, I think. And I add a little bit of the ink at the bottom, and that wasn't a good idea. Because remember, that one doesn't bleed very well. So here's my flower contribution for the hashtag event, CAC Flower Art. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you give it a try. You don't have to have a lot of drawing skill to actually do this, I promise you. And I'd like to thank you all for watching. If you liked it, please hit like. And if you'd like to see more, please subscribe.